Hello. Today I'm going to be drawing another dwarf spider. The photo is by James Reben. So yeah, I wanted to do another one just to get in a little more practice. So as always, I'm going to start off with drawing the head first, or the ball of the head, and I'll eventually add more structure onto it. Let me do that one more time. I'm going to try to do it more clean. About like that. And now I'm going sorry, that was actually like the cephalothorax, the head and thorax combined. Now I'm going to draw the abdomen. I think it should be a little wider. About like that, I would say. And I am seeing this structure. It kind of looks like an intermediary area between the head and the abdomen, so maybe I should try to account for that. It's just like a smidge larger than the head. But now that I think about it again, I'm feeling like I should have made the head a little bit smaller, but I'm going to stick with that form. So now I want to attach the legs, and the cool thing that I liked about this photo in particular is I feel like we could see most of the initial leg connection points. They're like these little bean-like shapes connecting to every leg. So I like how we could see them in this view. So I'm going to draw the pilot holes on the cephalothorax. And if you ever do look at the underside of a spider, their leg attachment points are very close to one another. I mean, each half. Like obviously, like there's a gap between here and here. But I meant like all of these legs are pretty close to one another. Okay, so now I am going to draw some lines to summarize the gesture of the legs. So in this case, it's interesting because it's like it goes up, it goes kind of like that, then like about there, some of the legs are a little bit more obscured. And now that I think about it, I just saw a mistake that I made, and I think I can fix it. But it pretty much has to do with how I made. Wow, that's really annoying, but I'll show you. So the perspective, I kind of assumed the cephalothorax was straight on, but it's it's not. It's kind of like a bit tilted to the right. So it's kind of like that leg is there, and this leg is like there. Like I made it way too straight, and it should have been a bit more tilted. But you will have to forgive me as I got off work and I'm a bit tired. Yeah, I think this kind of shows a better relationship of how the legs are going to be. So sorry about that. No, it's not like that. It kind of like goes out, then up, then like that. Now this leg kind of goes like, kind of like folds in a bit. It's a bit weird, but I want to keep the distance in perspective. I think the gap is still should be a bit wider. Well, no, I think it works. No, I want to be mindful of the negative space, which is something that I rarely talk about. This is a cool little tip that I can give you. So, something that I do try to be mindful of when I'm like trying to keep things equally apart and proportions in mind, I think about like the negative space. Like you see this leg here, it's like a really weird shape, and like I'm just trying to draw a gestural line for it and then cap off the end. But like, you could kind of see like all the weird angles it goes through until it gets to the end. Why this spider is tucking in that leg, it's hard for me to tell. Possibly his leg is injured, or maybe it's trying to I don't know. Maybe it's injured, maybe it's just regularly tucked. But I want to say I've seen a few insects that had an injured leg, and they may do stuff like that. Okay. So now for this leg, it kind of goes up. Kind of like that. Kind of like that. That leg is kind of like that. I pretty much always use like these summarizing gestural lines when I do the leg, and like it's not really the line of action, it's more just a way for me to try to quickly summarize the lines, because in the past when I would try to handle each individual leg immediately without drawing this line to help orient myself, more often than not I would do the leg wrong, or like it would kind of be different from my reference. I mean, though I am trying as hard as I can to mimic the reference I have, sometimes I accidentally deviate from that, and I'm trying to be as close to reality as possible. And I think it should have been more like that, so let me do that one more time. Kind of like that. Oops. Sometimes when I draw, I may not be pressing hard enough. Possibly that's kind of a thing I picked up from when I started drawing with pencil. So just know that it was unintentional. And I made it a good habit of mine to not try to press too hard. I think when I was first learning to draw, I was pressing way too hard, and I may have accidentally hurt the ink flow of some fine liners I had. And it was like one of those things that I was like really trying to struggle with, but I kind of eventually got used to it. And now for the back leg. I think I made that too long. And kind of like that. We're seeing some like sharp leg turning points that I feel like you usually don't normally see with a spider, which is really interesting. So now I want to do the initial beam connections, and just to tell you, after I do those initial beam connections, I kind of want to add the top structure on, which is something, I feel like, I followed many different ways to draw insects, and there's probably a lot more that I need to do, but I've always found myself kind of following different ways to approach it. And, you know, I try to work on stuff that's not obscured first, or like if I need to draw main things, I don't want to obscure other things. So, for instance, I also want to fit in the I'm not sure if these are Chalcedory, but these two things that I believe the spider uses to bite. I wanted to attach those things first, just so I could help orient myself with them. Getting in the habit of trying to do that. Try not to forget anything. Okay, so I want to attach the initial bean shapes. These are kind of like the under part of the spider. If you Google an image of bottom of a spider, if you aren't afraid of them so much, you'll see what I mean. They're kind of like nubs that connect. And based on the perspective you see, sometimes they kind of look, they may look like more like a bean shape, they may look like a gumdrop. I don't know why I think gumdrop. I also realized that, like, sometimes based on the viewing angle, sometimes I'll draw an ellipse to cap off the various segments of the legs. But if you don't see it, do know that there is always like an ellipse of some caliber there. It's very good to be aware of that. Oops, did I do something wrong? No, I didn't. I'm good. And now for that leg. Okay. I also wanted to get the two, I'm not sure, Chalcedory things, which can be difficult to see. Sometimes when you have like that one, in which it's kind of like there is a bean under it, but we really can't see it because it's obscured by the other one being in front of it. It is a bit frustrating, I must say, and there are also a lot of weird shapes on it. I wanted to maybe I'll quickly do that so I don't forget. I do want to summarize the end with a ball, even though the majority of this thing is made up of like a bunch of connected ovals. But the thing is, the end, I do want to, I don't think that's hair, that's an important structural part. It is kind of hard to see, but I do want to do that. And they may be like fangs of some sort, I believe. And yeah, sometimes things get a little bit obscured as you go. But I will try my best at trying to make it clear. I hope it isn't too hard for anyone to see what I'm doing. I'm pretty sure this is just something so they could bite and paralyze their prey. I'm guessing. Okay, so I have those initial attachment parts, and now I want to draw the covering, or like the cephalothorax head thing. I wanted to do that just because I was able to draw the underparts, and I feel like now I could kind of, draw a bit over them. Not over them, but the other thing is it's like this part always reminds me of like a crab shell. And on top, you also have this structure that kind of bulges up as it goes through. And it's like where all of the eyes are located. So I can't see every eye, but they're all there. I know spiders have 8 eyes, so I am trying to just... Well, I guess I should make them a bit larger, because I could see some of them. And they all adhere to the surface differently, and it looks like some are larger than others. Yeah, but you know what? I just realized I kind of messed that up, because it appears that that initial part is more to the right side of it, like it's more centrally located over here. As difficult as it is to see. Okay. The other thing I wanted to get is this intermediate area. It's kind of like, I don't know what it is, but it's kind of like this connecting structure that connects the cephalothorax to the abdomen. I've seen that type of thing, that intermediary area with like on ants. That's also where you see it. I can't see the web spinners. I feel like I'm seeing maybe a very subtle bit of it there, and maybe there. Or actually, it's more like over there. It's really subtle. I may even be seeing it wrong. But okay. Now for the legs. So I want to start, how about if I start with the back leg first, this leg here. And there's a lot of sausage. It's like a interesting sausage shape. And it connects to that starting point. And I wanted to draw, as I ended that ellipse, I kind of drew connecting it to the other ellipse of the starting gumdrop shape. Okay, so now there's like a longer shape, and like I said, what I figured, what makes kind of drawing legs a little bit easier for me is when I kind of try to show the ending connection ellipse, even though I'm just drawing like a part of it. Like there are various ways you could draw an ellipse. Like you can draw an ellipse like that. You could draw a partial ellipse. You could go less. You don't have to draw the whole one. You could just draw maybe a portion of what you're seeing. Sometimes an ellipse viewed straight on could be looking like a line, but they usually almost always certainly have some degree to them, even though it may not be 100% visible. Okay, I got that one. Now the next part is like right there. It's like a matched stick. And the ending part, it's like another smaller matched stick. Okay, now I want to do the back leg here. And it ends at about here. And then it's an interesting shape here. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like dipping a bit. Then there's the smaller matched stick. Then it ends with the last one. Okay. Now I'm going to do this leg. It's interesting. I feel like if I summarize it with that ending ellipse, because it kind of just goes right up, then connects to there. Now I'm seeing that connecting ellipse about here. about there. Then I have that one. Yeah, I should tilt it a little bit more like that. Kind of like that. The last one is very small. This perspective of it kind of makes it seem like a elongated oval, in my opinion. Now for this one, in which it's like the initial bean shape is like going kind of straight up, curving and connecting. Now this leg goes about here as it connects to that bean shape. Then about here the degree is a bit more tilted, not as visible. Actually, I should make it a little bit higher. About there. About there. Then for the last part of the leg, about like that. Now the front leg, which we're fighting a lot because it's partially in front of its, I think it's chalcerite maybe? These two things, like the things it uses to bite, I believe. Oh, the other thing I should have mentioned, I should draw it. It's kind of hard to, like, I know they also have these, maybe those things are grabbers and it has, like, fangs over here. It's very hard to see them because I'm drawing over a lot, but it does have, like, two fang-like shapes that connect to its mouth. And I'm just drawing over a ton of structure because there's, like, a lot of overlap, but it is important to acknowledge them. And I tried to draw it, but it's, like, a bit of a mess. So I'm going to leave it like that and start on this leg. So the first being, I drew the initial shape, and it kind of goes like up. And like I said, there's a lot of overlap going on here, so we really can't see as much as I would like to. But I can see the next part of the matchstick leg, and it connects to our thing over here. Then there's that next little part leg right here. To there. Now it should be thinner. It's a bit difficult to achieve the degree of thinness with that oval that I wanted to. But okay, now for this leg. Now that I look at it, I think I kind of messed up that initial bean shape. It should have been a little bit longer. But oh well. So now I wanted to draw, well actually the bean shape kind of goes to about here. It's doing a lot of twisting. Before it connects. It's doing a lot of angle changes, and I'm wondering if maybe, no, I think it's okay for me to summarize it like that. So the ending cap here, it's really interesting is like it ends, and it's like I see a very little flat shape like right here. As it connects to that other leg. Now, man, I did not do a good job with summarizing this. I don't know what I was thinking. It should be extended a lot further. So if you just hold on for like 1 second, I'm going to erase that and try to fix my mistake. Yeah, it's kind of like, well, it should be a bit more straighter. Kind of like that. Yeah, sorry about that. So now There's like an ending part right there. Then we have the thinner part over here. And I think we're just seeing a couple extra segments that I may have summarized. Like, I'm looking at this like before, and I kind of summarized it as this piece is one, but like I see another point, or like another separator, and maybe it was bad for me to kind of summarize it like that. But for this demonstration, I think it works. I'll connect that. Okay, now for this leg, it's doing a bunch of angle changes. Kind of like that. And I'm seeing that shape. I'm seeing that shape. I'm seeing that. Then I think I made this little part a little bit too thick. It should be a little thinner. Oops. It should have been a little thinner, not as thin as I wanted it to be. But I'll roll with that. Now for the last leg, and this one we can like see that little initial connecting leg. Then I see like the change right here for that first initial beam shape. Then it kind of goes up and dips out, goes up, kind of like that. Then I'm seeing the smaller matchstick leg part about here. And now I see the other segment, which kind of is like the same, but a little smaller about here. And then the last part, which is really small, is about there. But yeah, that is our spider. Yeah, cool. So if you like my channel, please subscribe. If you have a question, please drop it in the comments. If you like the video, please like it. Thanks again to James Reben for this other spider. I'm trying to get a lot of spider practice in. I probably should do more scorpions because they take a lot longer, and it seems like they have a lot of complexities to them. But yeah, thanks for sticking around. Bye.